All right, class, before we write anything in our notebook, I'm going to use one of our spelling words in a sentence, and I want you to tell me if it's a noun or a verb. All right, our word is push. All right, I can push you on the swing. Push. All right, 3 seconds to think about it. 2, 1. Class, what is it? Noun or verb? Oh, if you said noun, remember anytime you can say I blank or I can blank, we know it's going to be a verb, an action. So I hope everyone said verb. If you didn't, that's something we need to work on. Make sure we're thinking instead of just guessing. All right, so go to page 16, our verbs page. All right, so push is a verb. We'll put it on our next free line. Which do we use in push? Good. You, All right, so go ahead and write and mark push. All right, and check and make sure yours looks like mine. All right, make sure we get that 4 on top. All right. Push. All right. Wait a minute. Does that mean that pull is a verb? Let's see. I'll use it in a sentence. She will pull the wagon. Pull. Is pull an action? It sure is, right? Push and pull are opposites. So one of them's an action. The other one is also an action. So our next line, we're going to write pull. Which do we use in pull? Good. We use you, again. And which rule do we use at the end of pull? Good, we use our floss rule. Let's say the floss rule. We often double F, L, or S after a single vowel at the end of a one-syllable word. All right, so write it and mark it. Oops, I should have given you more time to do it by yourself. But that's what our pull should look like. All right, let's see. Our next word we want to see if it's a noun or a verb is the word wreck. All right, so I'll use it in a sentence. Let's see. He said he will wreck my sand castle. Wreck. All right, is wreck a noun or a verb? All right, tell me in 3, 2, 1. What is it, class? All right, I hope we said verb because, again, wreck is something that you can do. All right, so our next line, we're going to write wreck. Go ahead, before you write it, which do we use at the beginning? And it's not an right? It's not wreck, it's wreck, so it's Which is at the beginning of wreck? Good, 2-letter And which k do we use at the end? Good, 2-letter k, used after a single vowel that says a, or a. So go ahead and on the next free line, write and mark wreck. All right, make sure yours looks like that. All right. When we make wreck into wrecker, which part of speech? So we talked before, when we add the of her to the end of a word, it changes a verb into what? Like bake to baker and teach to teacher. It changes our verb into what? Good. It changes our verb into a noun. All right. And which does that? Good. The of her. So let's go all the way to the back of our notebook to our page, 74 and 75. So which do we use to turn our verb wreck into our noun wrecker? Good. The of her is the one that can do that. So your next free line in your first column, go ahead and write and mark wrecker. So remember, wreck is just like our base word. The first syllable is just like our base word. So our first syllable is what? Good, wreck. And our second syllable? Good, er. So go ahead and write and mark wrecker. All right, pause the video if you're not finished yet. Gosh, it doesn't quite fit. Wrecker. All right, we're going to put one more thing in the back of our notebook, and that is tow, the kind that we learned today, right? The kind of truck that takes you to the car shop, or also that action of getting your car taken to the shop. In that kind of tow, not the one on our foot, which O do we use? Good, we use ow, O. So we'll go to our O's page, which is page 82 and 83. So we already have our old kind of toe there, the one on your foot. But now we want to put in the one we learned today. Which O do we use in that one again? Good, ow, O. So find the ow, O column and go ahead and write and mark toe. All right, pause the video if you haven't finished yet. That's what it should look like. All right. Let's see, there's one more thing that I want us to put in our notebook that I forgot about in our last video, because we have two words in our spelling words today that are opposites. All right, class, who can tell me the fancy name in English for words that are opposites? Did you say antonyms? Because you are just right. Antonyms. All right, can anyone, thinking back or even looking at your paper if you want to, what were our two antonyms or opposites in our spelling words today? If you're not sure, I'll give you a hint. One is push. What's the opposite of push? Good, pull. All right, so those are our antonyms, push and pull. So let's go ahead and start with push. Go ahead and write it. Which do we use? Good, u, u, u. All right, go ahead and write and mark push in the first spot. All right, let's check it. All right, and then we'll write pull in the second spot, but before we write it, class, we use the same in push and pull, but what rule do we use at the end of pull? All right, the word end might have helped you out. We often double F, L, or S after a single vowel at the end of a one-syllable word. What rule is that? Good, our floss rule. So make sure you use your floss rule at the end of pull. All right. Let's see, the last thing we'll do is write these words in our notebook. So go to page 45. And this is lesson J-3. All right, class, the first word is push. Go ahead and write and mark it. I'll show you all of them at the end, I think. The next one is pull. All right, next is wreck. Remember which r, and which k to use for that one. All right, next is wrecker. So we've got our base word as our rec as our first syllable, and then we add which er? Good, the of her. All right, next is toe. Remember which O we use for our new kind of toe, not our old one. All right, oil is next. Remember which oi we use. Then our last word is gas. There's nothing we have to remember for that one. All right, so after you have those all written and marked, go ahead and check. Make sure they look like mine. And have a wonderful day.